sneakers, and not soap.
Or that shit.
With Joel in bad shape from the stab wound, Ellie remembers a night of joy and loss. Hello, entertainment enthusiasts. This is Ray, and this is the Fandom Realm. And today I am reviewing episode number 7 of The Last of Us. As always, there are spoilers involved, so just be aware. Before we get started, just a quick recap. In the last episode, Joel and Tommy reunited before Joel set out with Ellie in order to take her to the Fireflies. And with that, he was stabbed. And now it's up to Ellie to save his life as we start episode 7. All right, as we do get started, I do just want to mention that I'm not going to say a ton between the short clips and things like that. I'm going to try to wait until I have a longer section to talk about, just to let you know. All right, so obviously Ellie has been able to get Joel to some type of shelter at a house that's not being used, and it looks like she has probably pulled him along because there was a trail of blood in the actual snow, and I mean, there's no way she was going to carry him. I thought maybe she would get him back on the horse, but the blood trail seems to say otherwise. But he is still alive, so there is still hope. And of course, we are getting a flashback episode.
Give him back!
You've never been what I call well behaved but the last few weeks. Jobs, you take shit orders from your patrol leader, who'll probably be Bethany. So when you're an officer, you get to tell the Bethanies of the world exactly where to shove it. If we go down, the people in this zone will starve or murder each other. That much I know.
Can I have my Walkman back?
All right, now I love this series of clips just because this officer, I'm assuming they're in Fedra, has sort of trying to motivate Ellie. And while he's trying to motivate her, he is sort of saying how much his life sucks. But he's basically saying, hey, you can be the person who is taking orders and you're going to do all the crap jobs, or you could be the person giving orders and get all the good jobs. And basically saying she needs to be a leader and get to do the good jobs.
Ow. Riley, where have you been?
Okay, it's bad.
I thought you were dead. You've been gone for 3 weeks. Riley, I'm really not in the mood. You're a firefly? Jesus. Okay, so where are we going?
Secret.
So we're introduced to Riley here, who seems to be Ellie's best friend. And Riley has disappeared for a while and come back a firefly. And she has a gun, and she's getting ready to take Ellie on some type of adventure.
Not that fucking stupid, are they?
Okay, rocky start.
So they're sneaking through town. And they find a body. And some alcohol.
Give me your gun.
All right, fine. Truth. They're fascist dick bags, and they're the ones that should be getting hanged for their crimes.
And so we're talking about Fedra.
Yeah, so more apartments.
So Fedra's not entirely bad.
Fascist dick bag.
Riley's not a big fan. So now we find out that Riley has taken Ellie to a mall, And we do find out that the power's on at the mall basically because they had turned the power back on to another part of the city or the town, and it just turned the power back on at this mall as well. And so it's pretty obvious that Riley's taking her here for a reason. It's sort of like a get-together or a date, or at least that's what it would seem to be as we watch the two of them head there. I will say I do like these two characters together, Ellie and Riley. I think they had extremely good chemistry from the very first moment they had their scene together. And so, this mall, of course, I love the fact that now we're going to get to see Ellie experience a mall, something she's never done before.
Ow, man! This is so cool!
Escalators. Who doesn't love escalators?
Sneakers. And not soap.
Or that shit. Haha, no, I know why. It just looks uncomfortable.
Yep. Now?
Almost. I said almost.
So as they're walking around this mall, I love the fact that Ellie's asking the question, why were people more interested in sneakers, something they don't need, and soap, which is something they do need. And then they also were looking at the lingerie shop, which was sort of funny. So they have a carousel here.
One gave me sewage detail. We're 2 wonders down, 3 more to go, if you want to keep going.
So we find out that when she originally joined up with the Fireflies, Riley was not given a good detail, or at least that's what she tells Ellie. And with that, she was not very happy about that. And also with what we see is she has figured out there are what she calls wonders of the mall, like the 7 wonders of the world. And so she's taking Ellie to all of these. And, it becomes evident as they're on that carousel that Ellie has some type of feelings for Riley. And so we get to see some more of that as well. One of these annoying photo booths.
Oh, shit. What should we do?
I've never liked any pictures that were taken in these.
Are we going to whatever number we're up to?
4th wonder of the mall, and
I'm not sure they can count either. Because I'm not sure that shouldn't have been the 3rd. I guess I missed something somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
So they end up in an arcade. Lots of throwback here at this arcade.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, lots of throwbacks at this arcade. I think that's something they've been very good at in this show so far, is going back to things that we would have seen maybe in the 90s, early 2000s, in other time periods, and getting us to think about those. Even they're getting ready to play the game Mortal Kombat. And, that's one of those sort of classic games that you think of being in a time period.
Oh,
you ready?
yeah. Oh, fuck.
Okay, of course, we get our flawless victories.
Round 1.
And they're going to be fighting here. And the camera's going to pan away. And that's not good. So basically, they're playing games, they're being loud, And apparently, while Riley has been here before, she has never seen that there are some of the fungus zombies around. And just a couple hallways down, it seems, or shops down, there seems to be one of the zombies sort of sitting back. And it seems like the zombie has been woken up. Of course, we by the time we got here, realized we're going to see some zombies at this mall.
Tacos? Okay.
So they're off to Nacho World?
Okay, how does a computer get drunk? It takes screenshots. Did you make these?
Yes.
So this is obviously where Ellie sort of gets her jokes and the joke books. And also with that, we see that Riley...
They posted you here. You recruit guarding their stash?
We would never use them.
has made some bombs, and Ellie
Ellie, I'm leaving.
realizes that she was stationed here.
But Marlene said no.
Who the fuck is Marlene?
Marlene is the lady that helped.
Introduced to Marlene.
Because I wanted to see you. And I wanted to say goodbye.
All right, lots going on right here. Of course, we find out the mall is basically Riley's base of operations where she has been staying. We also are going to see here Riley is leaving. She doesn't want to do it anymore. So she's trying to say basically goodbye to Ellie.
Thought you'd like this one the best, so I saved it for last.
So she gets Ellie to come into a horror room.
You don't know what it was like to have a family.
So they're going to be partying a little bit here. And with that, they're making a lot of noise.
What?
All right. So still, lots more going on here. We're going to get Ellie initiating a kiss with Riley. And so with that, of course, we've already found out Riley is leaving. This was actually meant sort of as a goodbye date. And there is our zombie. Ellie's not a bad fighter. And there comes Riley. Man, a knife right to the side of the head. So this is where she's bitten. And Riley was bitten too. Okay, so of course now we know the point of this episode was to show us where and when Ellie was bitten. And it was while she was here with Riley and fighting off that zombie. We're going to get a little bit of a flashback to Joel here. And Ellie checking the house for supplies. I thought this was not the best place to throw that, and I call it a flashback, but I didn't think this was the best place to put this back in.
See way out. It's quick.
Well, I would be upset too, Ellie.
Just keep going.
So they're trying to figure out what to do.
It's 2 minutes. 2 days. Just be all poetic and shit.
And it looks like they're just going to keep trying to go and see what happens. So basically there we have Riley talking about what they can do, which is basically, they have a gun there, they can kill themselves because they're going to be infected. And the other thing is just to go on and see what happens. So we're back to Joel, and Ellie is finding supplies. He's still alive. That's a nasty looking little stab wound. But it looks a little weird for a stab wound, to be honest. So Ellie is going to start sewing him up. And with that, we get the end of the episode. Now, I don't have a ton to say at the end of this episode. I know I say that every time and talk forever, but this time it's for real. A couple things I have. I love that relationship between Riley and Ellie. I thought they had very good chemistry together as actresses. And again, Bella Ramsey is just blowing this role out of the water. She is so good as Ellie. I like that we got some of Ellie's backstory, sort of showing what she was going through and where she was coming from once she found Joel. And so sort of finding out her background. Of course, this was also a very important part of the story that we had to find out at some point, is what exactly happened to get Ellie bitten and why did she survive? Why didn't somebody shoot her? So we find out here, I guess they never told anybody about it. And they're going to have to answer that question, I think, a little bit, maybe in another flashback at another time. So we'll have to see where that actually goes. Of course, this is an all Ellie episode, nothing with Joel, which that's sort of disappointing, but that's okay. The big thing here, and I'm not going to say this, it's not really meant as a huge negative, but I thought this was very much a filler episode. While I liked the fact that we got the background from Ellie, I really thought we could have done a few more flashback and forth from the future or from the past when we're seeing Ellie and what she was going through back to her trying to help Joel, because it was sort of awkward at that one point where right near the end they flashed back for like just a few seconds while Ellie was trying to find some items in that house, and then they flash back to Riley and Ellie when they haven't done that at any time during the episode, except right at the start. And so I was a little disappointed with that. I thought the timing of that was a little off. And I'll be quite honest, this was not my favorite episode. This was probably, of the 7 episodes, my number 7. And, it wasn't horrible. Only problem is we basically had this episode in episode 3, and episode 3 was one of the best episodes of any TV series. And I think trying to do it again, we've already seen this basically, okay, sort of filling in the story. I think it would have gone much better, at least for me, if they would have done some of Ellie's story and then flash back and take her back to trying to save Joel. Ellie's story, back to Joel. Ellie's story, back to Joel. Because while I did like a lot of the story, I didn't think some of it was that interesting. Okay? Now, with that, I hope everybody enjoys the review. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment below, and I'll see you next time on the Fandom Realm.